the crystals from their bodies. You can use weapons, but no vehicles or other external forces. Once you've collected the crystals, come find me. As soon as Chenluo finished speaking, a system voice echoed in Li Ming's mind. Ding, an NPC has issued you a task. Hearing this, Li Ming nodded in agreement. We'll do it right away. He then led his sister away. Watching their departing figures, Chenluo pondered. People with attachments like them are easier to trust than lone wolves. Besides, from the looks of it, these siblings aren't weaklings. Otherwise, they wouldn't have survived until now. I hope you don't disappoint me. Back in the car, Li Hui exclaimed, Brother, it seems their team knows the use of the crystals. I thought they were unaware. Li Ming chuckled. There are many smart people out there. Moreover, the fact that he can provide meat for so many team members is truly remarkable. If he asked us to kill 10 zombies, we should kill 20 to prove ourselves. Hearing Li Ming's words, Li Hui nodded in agreement. Half an hour later, Chenluo, looking at the crystals in their hands, welcomed them into his team. He then inquired about their awaken abilities. They introduced themselves. I'm Li Ming and I awaken on the 3rd day. My sister Li Hui awakened on the 2nd day. I possess a constitution-related awakening, while my sister has darkness-based powers. Chenluo looked excitedly at the dark power in Li Hui's hands. He knew that darkness-based powers would get stronger with leveling up, and in the late stages, they become nearly invincible. With this in mind, Chenluo asked Sister Yu to prepare a portion of braised pork with potatoes for the siblings. That night, Chenluo asked Rice to sleep with Mi Ling, stating he had important matters to attend to with Mi Li. Rice, however, was somewhat reluctant, assuring that he would quietly watch and not interfere. This irritated Chenluo immensely. Confused, Rice watched as the furious Chenluo stormed off, not understanding why he was suddenly being shunned. Upon entering the room, Chenluo, unable to contain his excitement, immediately tried to initiate a passionate encounter with Mi Li. Mi Li promptly declined, saying it was inappropriate and she was still sore. Chenluo, feeling helpless, hugged her, saying he would only be close without crossing any boundaries, and suggested, why don't you try using a healing spell on yourself? This left Mi Li blushing deeply. The next morning, Chenluo led the team out to search for supplies. On the way, Chenluo began to delegate tasks. First, everyone should rely on the vehicle to clear the trailing zombies, then get out of the car to remove the vehicles blocking the road. Elemental attack. Others protect in front. Jiang Feng, try to control the number of zombies. Upon receiving the command, Jiang Feng got out of the car and lured the zombies with his wind abilities. Shuyun then ordered everyone to focus their attacks. In an instant, the girls opened the windows of the bus. They attacked the zombies outside from the windows. Seeing this, Chenluo was very pleased. Good job. The accuracy of the spells is much better than the first day. After clearing the trailing zombies, everyone got out of the car to deal with the other approaching zombies. At the same time, they moved the vehicles, but Chenluo just stood by quietly watching everyone take action. Just then, Rice suddenly exclaimed, no touching, it still hurts. Hearing this, Chenluo was stunned. He then glared fiercely at Rice, asking him where he had heard that from. Rice said that she overheard it from the balcony last night. Besides, you only said I shouldn't watch. You didn't say I couldn't eavesdrop. Hearing this, Chenluo was utterly speechless. You know too much, you cat. Be careful, or I might kill the cat to silence it. Half an hour later, everyone arrived at the Yulin community. Chenluo instructed everyone to take a weapon and clear out the nearby zombies. He also instructed a group to first enter the restaurant to see if there were any supplies to be collected. They split into 4 groups and were told not to act alone. All the collected supplies were to be moved to the truck. Soon, there were rice, flour, oil, and other supplies being loaded onto the truck. Just then, one of the girls exclaimed, Captain, come quickly, there's a supermarket over there that hasn't been looted. Upon entering the supermarket, Mi Ling was looking for something near the cash register. This strange action caught Shuyun's attention. Curious, she went over and saw that Mi Ling was holding a box of ultra-thin condoms. Seeing this, Shuyun's face turned red instantly. Could she and Chenluo be in that kind of intimate relationship? Just then, Mi Ling noticed Shuyun staring at her, and her face turned crimson as she hurriedly tried to explain. However, Shuyun made an excuse and quickly left, leaving Mi Ling trembling with rage. If it wasn't for Mi Li, she wouldn't have been looking for that. Elsewhere, Chenluo noticed that many people in the community were watching their team, but he didn't care. Then, an old lady from upstairs asked Chenluo for a watermelon to quench her thirst. Hearing this, similar requests emerged from other rooms in the building. Chenluo was left speechless by these people. You all really have some nerve. Chenluo flatly refused, saying that he had difficulty moving and they should come down and get it themselves. At his words, the crowd instantly became enraged. The old men and women upstairs began to curse at him. Led by one of the elderly men, a group of seniors armed with weapons rushed downstairs and surrounded Chenluo. You young man, don't you know how to respect the elderly and care for the young? Didn't your family teach you any manners? To this, Chenluo snorted, a bunch of shameless old bastards. They don't dare to confront zombies, but are quick to bully people. As soon as he finished speaking, an old man started cursing at Chenluo. The supermarket downstairs is owned by my brother. Where did you guys come from? Since you moved things out of it, we're keeping this truck. Be careful, or we won't be so polite. The others were preparing to seize the truck and the supplies inside. Seeing this, Chenluo, with an icy gaze, told the old man in front to get lost. But the old man, extremely arrogant, pointed at Chenluo and said, "What? You want to hit someone? Come on, hit me. I tell you, if you dare to hit, I'll lie down and won't get up. Hit me. You're afraid to, huh?" Hearing this, without saying a word, Chenluo raised his hand and slapped the old man. "In all my life, I've never seen such a demand. You're welcome." The old man was slapped so hard he flew backward, landing with a loud thud and not moving. Seeing this, the others began to talk. "Hey, are you okay? Wake up. Why isn't Oldly moving? Is he alright? Don't worry, he used to scam people by pretending to be hurt. He's a pro. He's really good at acting then." Hearing this, Chenluo was speechless. "You're all old. Is your vision not working? Didn't you see half his face is skewed? If I don't give them a hard lesson, they won't back off." Thinking this, Chenluo snapped his fingers. Immediately, a group surrounded the old men and women, who also took on an aggressive stance. "I'm a grandma and I know magic. I'm a grandpa and I also know magic." Chenluo sneered, without making an example. "They won't disperse." The next second, a spatial orb was thrown at them. "Help! Run for your lives!" After dealing with this group of elders, another group emerged from the community, and Chenluo felt a sense of recognition upon seeing one person. In his past life, when he was still weak, he used to hang out with this guy. It seems his name was Chenguang. The young man named Chenguang held out his hands to show he meant no harm. "These elders who cursed us every day, I let them be because they're neighbors. I didn't expect them to meet their end by your hand." Upon hearing this, Chenluo asked in response, "Do you seek revenge for them?" "Dude, don't get me wrong. We came here for two reasons. First, to make friends with you all, and second, to ask for a favor. I am Chenguang." Saying that, he extended his hand for a handshake with Chenluo. "I am Chenluo. What kind of favor?" Hearing this, Chenguang replied, "In our community, there's a zombie dog that can control lightning, and it possesses an incredible intelligence. I hope you can help us kill it. Furthermore, there are many resources in the community that we haven't gathered. How about we split the loot?" After listening, Chenluo nodded. "What's the compensation?" Chenguang was taken aback for a moment but then laughed. "How about 300 pounds of rice and 5 buckets of water?" Upon learning from the rice that this group meant no harm, Chenluo readily agreed. Before leaving, he instructed his team to continue loading the remaining supplies onto the truck. "Thunder King, come with me." This made Chenguang slightly shocked. "Just the two of you? It might not be enough." Chenluo just smiled. "Didn't you notice I have a dog with me?" This left Chenguang completely baffled. "No way, bro. This is an apocalypse, not some peaceful golden age. You've kept 2 pets, and even travel with a group of ladies. It seems these ladies all listen to you. You've truly reached the pinnacle of life." At that moment, Meili suddenly asked, "Brother Chenluo, do you want me to come with you?" Chenluo smiled and waved his hand. "Wait for me to return." He then handed rice over to Meili to hold. Seeing this, envy-filled tears streamed down Chenguang's face. "Damn, is there any justice left? He's got a cat, a dog, and a partner. All he's missing is a feast for every meal." On the way, Chenguang began to explain details about the zombie dog to Chenluo. After finishing his explanation, he asked if Chenluo had any strategies to deal with the zombie hound. Chenluo grinned, looking at Thunder King. "Fight fire with fire, or in this case, dog with dog." Upon hearing this, a puzzled expression crossed Chenguang's face. "Dude, do you have a vendetta against your pet dog or something? Sending it might as well be delivering dog meat on a platter. Why not sell the dog to me instead?" However, Chenluo just laughed it off. Since the conversation had gone this far, Chenguang no longer tried to dissuade him. Besides, the dog even nods its head. It seems quite intelligent. Thunder King then began to keenly sniff the air, moving while following a scent. Soon, Thunder King led them to the 8th floor of a building. Before even getting close, Chenluo could smell a strong scent of blood. Opening a door, right in front of them was the zombie dog they were searching for. Upon receiving a signal from Chenluo, Thunder King lunged forward, using his astonishing speed to dodge the undead hound's attacks. Seeing this, the pupils of Chenguang and others contracted. Such speed! Thunder King seized the opportunity during a brief lapse in the undead dog's assault to close in. Simultaneously, Thunder King charged his tail with electricity, using a newly acquired skill called Thunder Sweep. The zombie dog had no chance to evade. Being struck fiercely by the swift and powerful Thunder Sweep, it was sent crashing into the wall, meeting its end. "That's it. Our collaboration is over. Time to hand over the promised supplies." Upon hearing Chenluo's words, a stunned Chenguang gradually came back to his senses, staring agape at Thunder King. It felt surreal. The entire battle hadn't lasted more than 10 seconds. If it wasn't for the fact that the zombie dog also had lightning attributes and some resistance to electric powers, it probably wouldn't have lasted even that long. As Chenluo prepared to leave with his reward, Chenguang stopped him, offering an invitation to team up with his squad. "How about it? Would you consider joining us? I'm not boasting, but each of us has killed at least 10 zombies. We're willing to fight light and absolutely reliable. Furthermore, we have abundant supplies, enough to last for at least 6 months. However, Chenluo was unfazed, indicating he alone could easily annihilate all of them. To put it bluntly, have you ever seen a strong individual team up with weaker ones? If you really want to unite, you'd have to do everything under my command. I need absolute control. Hearing this, Chen Guang hesitated. Just then, one of his teammates rushed over, saying, "A zombie that can shoot fireballs just injured Zhang Liang. Seeing our numbers, it fled." Hearing this news, Chen Guang, leaving Chen Luo behind, hurried to his injured comrade. Observing the situation, Chen Luo signaled Mi Li to follow and check it out. Seeing Chen Luo approaching, Chen Guang, like a drowning man clutching at a straw, pleaded for him to save his brother. Chen Luo, with a smile, looked at Mi Li, signaling her to administer a healing spell on Zhang Liang. Mi Li nodded and, with a single spell, the critically injured Zhang Liang was miraculously healed. He immediately thanked Chen Luo and Mi Li. Before leaving, Chen Luo reminded Chen Guang, "Consider my proposal carefully." With that, he and Mi Li left. Watching their departing figures, Chen Guang exclaimed, "Such a powerful healing spell. Guys, I discussed teaming up with Chen Luo. He said we could, but on his terms. What do you think? Should we join him or decline?" Once this was spoken, the others began to voice their opinions. Chen Guang looked around, and seemingly no one objected. What's there even to discuss then? If this is the case, brothers, let's join them. Soon, Chen Guang, with his sizable group, approached Chen Luo, signifying that his squad was willing to follow Chen Luo's lead. "Welcome to the team. I have just 2 conditions. Follow orders, and dare to fight zombies. If you can't meet these, don't blame me for being ruthless." With that said, Chen Luo instructed them to pack all their supplies, to bring them to his main base. After all, now that we're united, it's better if we live together for mutual support. So, moving to my place is fine, right? Chen Guang and his team nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, a group of thugs led by Lu Wei was going from house to house, gathering resources. With about 18 or 19 survivors in his group, Lu Wei had established some dominance among them through his ruthless methods. Soon, they stumbled upon the villas where Chen Luo and Xu Yun resided. The ones on guard duty, Fang Yu, Su Lan, noticed them first. Su Lan inquired, "What should we do? Their numbers are significant." Chen Luo once said, "If there are too many, just pretend you didn't see them. If conflict arises, with only the 2 of us, Fang Yu and Su Lan, we won't stand a chance." Fang Yu, however, shook his head. "That won't work. We can't let them search our place. Our supplies are in there. Even if Chen Luo didn't command it, we can't just stand by and watch. Let's go down and warn them. Tell them our main forces are about to return. If they don't heed the warning, we'll fight. We can then run to lure them away, buying some time. With the electric batons in our hands, we might even have a chance to strike back." Just then, they saw Chen Luo's convoy returning to the compound. At the same time, Chen Luo on the vehicle also noticed the aggressive survivors heading straight for his villa. Seeing the main forces return, it's a perfect timing to join forces. Chen Luo remembers, the leader was the backer of bitch Chen Jing from his past life, Lu Wei. Lu Wei is a poison ability user. The thugs wanted to rob supplies, but were stopped by Lu Wei, all because he was waiting for the right moment to ambush Chen Luo and the others. The next second, Lu Wei left with his gang. Rice sensed the hostility from this man, so he warned Chen Luo. Chen Luo had his own plans in mind. "Don't worry, Rice." Chen Luo swiftly unleashed a spatial sphere, instantly targeting and blowing off Lu Wei's head. Without hesitation, he then ordered his subordinates, finish off the rest of them. Then, Chen Luo entered the room alone, remembering his past life. "Starting the day after tomorrow, some zombies will evolve to level 1. We must transport the supplies back before they evolve." Chen Luo lay on the bed, deep in thought. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Could it be Mi Li? Why is she so proactive today? Excited, Chen Luo sat up, but unexpectedly, it was Mi Ling. She even blushed and handed Chen Luo a small umbrella. Then she ran away in a hurry. Chen Luo smirked, "Haha, how could I not appreciate the wife's sister's kind gesture?" The next day, Chen Luo held a meeting. "I think everyone has noticed that there are more and more zombies who can use magic. If one day all zombies could use magic, would you still survive?" Upon hearing this, everyone started discussing. "Yes, I've noticed too. It's terrifying." "Exactly. What should we do?" Just as everyone was discussing fervently, Chen Luo clapped his hands to interrupt everyone. "If you all follow me, I won't let you die in vain here. Now, I'll teach everyone a method to deal with magic-wielding zombies. First, we need groups of 4, ideally 2 warriors and 2 mages. Warriors take damage up front. Mages provide continuous output from behind. If you encounter multiple magic zombies, run. Now, I'll teach you a little trick to dodge spells. Mi Ling, Xu Yun, attack me with your spells. I'll dodge." Mi Ling and Xu Yun nodded, using their abilities to launch attacks at Chen Luo. Yet, All their attacks were easily dodged by him. Everyone watched, mouths agape, faces full of disbelief. My god, the captain is amazing. Chenluo then explained, to dodge a spell, it's impossible to watch the spell and dodge. You have to watch the caster's movements to predict the spell's trajectory and move in advance to dodge the attack. This is called anticipation. As long as you pay attention to the spell's trajectory, it's easy to dodge the zombie's magic. After hearing this, Mi Ling was eager to test it out again. Chenluo chuckled. Alright, bring it on. Little did he know, after dodging an initial fireball, he was hit by another one from behind. Mi Ling, pleased with her cunning, said with glee, I anticipated your anticipation. Hearing this, Chenluo exclaimed, true to her name, the Spirit Flame Princess. Her combat talent is indeed formidable, but everyone can be reassured. Level 1 zombies definitely don't have this kind of wisdom. If you encounter one that can anticipate, just run. They are beyond your capability to resist. After dinner, everyone will go out and find opponents. Start practicing this skill. Before setting out, Chenluo reminded everyone, listen up, today counts as half a day. 3 level 1 crystals per person. Any team that doesn't complete this will be punished as a whole. The punishment is no dinner when you return. Meanwhile, Chenluo led his team out to collect crystals, only to come across a father-daughter duo being bullied. At a glance, Mi Li recognized the girl as her best friend. Brother Chenluo, can we help them? If they were strangers, maybe not. But since she's your best friend, how can we stand by and do nothing? He then ordered Thunder King to get off the vehicle to deal with the group. The gang greedily eyed Thunder King, thinking they had dog meat delivered to their doorstep, unaware that the god of thunder and lightning had arrived. Before they could react, Mi Ling and Su Daju ambushed them from behind, and at this moment, electricity surged around Thunder King. You bunch of trash think you can eat dog meat? After dealing with them, everyone began introductions. Zhang Jingjing shared that she and her father had no home and wished to join Chenluo's team. After some thought, Chenluo nodded in agreement. After all, she was Mi Li's best friend. He told them to follow their rules. Follow us back to our base in your vehicle. Upon arriving at the villa area, Zhang Jingjing held Mi Li's hand, saying, Mi Li, can you ask brother Chenluo if we can share a room tonight? We can chat and catch up. This left Chenluo quite speechless. He already had rice as a third wheel, and now another one? How could he possibly agree? Chenluo firmly declined with a cold face. No, without my permission, you cannot enter this villa. Turning to Shuyun, he asked her to arrange accommodations for Zhang Jingjing. Shuyun hurriedly took Zhang Jingjing away. At lunchtime, Zhang Jingjing curiously asked why Mi Li hadn't come, and wondered what she had for lunch. Zhang Jingjing's comment caught the other girls off guard. We're not 3-year-olds. Apart from occasionally dining with everyone, Chenluo usually eats in his own villa room. As for what Chenluo and the others eat, how would they know? Chenluo is like the boss, and we're like the employees. It's always a bit uncomfortable eating with the boss, so everyone dines separately. Upon hearing this, Zhang Jingjing's face fell. Mi Li must be eating something better. We're such good friends, yet you didn't include me. This saddened her, making her previously delightful sausage seem less appetizing. Meanwhile, inside Chenluo's villa, Chenluo said to Mi Li, we need to observe your best friend for a while. Don't reveal anything about our side of things. Let's see if she's trustworthy, if she doesn't have any ulterior motives. Even if she lacks abilities, I can arrange a logistical position for her. Mi Li nodded in agreement. Suddenly, Chen Guang's voice came through the intercom, stating that about a dozen cars had arrived at the villa's entrance, with roughly 50 to 60 people. Hearing this, Chenluo immediately issued a series of commands, ordering everyone to assemble at the villa's entrance. Upon receiving the command, the girls promptly headed towards the villa's exterior. Before departing, Shuyun asked Zhang Jingjing about her abilities. I have strength-based powers. Hearing this, Shuyun instructed her to stand at the front of the lineup. Zhang Jingjing immediately resisted. Grabbing Li Hui's hand, she said, isn't she also standing at the back? Li Hui whispered in reply, I have support abilities. Chenluo said I should stand at the back. Shuyun, running out of patience, dragged Zhang Jingjing to the front. Zhang Jingjing protested tearfully, Mi Li and I are best friends. You can't treat me like this. Seeing this scene, Mi Li hurriedly approached to comfort Zhang Jingjing, saying that this is a step everyone has to go through. Don't worry, I'll boost your status. If you get injured, I can heal you. However, Zhang Jingjing was staring at the corner of Mi Li's mouth. Mi Li had a trace of white there, a remnant of the cream ice cream she had eaten. This detail fueled resentment in Zhang Jingjing's heart. You had such a delicious treat and didn't share with me. Moreover, I've never heard of you having a brother, but here you are, constantly calling Chenluo brother. You must have used your charms on him. If you don't value sisterhood, don't blame me for not being courteous. At that moment, both sides were intensely confronting each other. Just then, Chenluo walked up from behind. Seeing him, Chen Guang immediately greeted, Big brother. The leader of the opposing group, Sun Dawei, scoffed upon seeing this. So, this is the impressive leader of the squad? Just a pretty boy. Young man, you're in charge here, right? My people haven't eaten or drunk for a day. Could you provide some assistance? Chenluo replied, we can't just give you supplies, but we can trade. You can exchange the crystals from the zombies' foreheads. 1 crystal for a bottle of water and a pound of rice. After all, our food is also limited. It's impossible to just give it away. Sun Dawei was taken aback by Chenluo's statement. He hadn't expected Chenluo to reveal the secret of the crystals. It seemed that Chenluo led this group due to some superior power. With that in mind, Sun Dawei decided not to feign niceties anymore. You think your group of women can stop us? That's a dream. Guys, this man wants us to kill zombies to provide us with supplies. What do you think we should do? Upon hearing this, there was a murmur of discussion behind Sun Dawei. Many hoped that Chenluo would spare them some food, but Chenluo knew that if he compromised and gave them food, they would always want more. Whenever their food ran out, they'd surely come to him. It seemed that these people truly weren't afraid of death. Just then, Zhang Jingjing suddenly spoke up. In all matters, harmony is most precious. Give them a bit of what they want and let them leave. Hearing this, everyone's expressions changed. Zhang Jingjing, what nonsense are you talking about? Faced with Mi Li's gentle persuasion, Zhang Jingjing seemed unaffected and insisted she wasn't speaking nonsense. Why engage in a life and death battle when you can just use food to send them away? Moreover, I'm standing right in the front. What if I get hurt in a fight? Before she could finish, Sun Dawei from the opposing side burst into laughter. This young beauty speaks the truth. We don't need much. Just give us a few thousand pounds of rice or flour and several tons of purified water. Unable to bear it anymore, Chenluo slapped Zhang Jingjing across the face. Who do you think you are? Is this your place to speak? The boss is talking here. It's one thing for the younger ones to interrupt, but it's another thing to speak on behalf of the enemy. Zhang Jingjing's father couldn't hold back anymore. He ran over and rebuked Chenluo. Is what my daughter said wrong? There are so many of them. What good will come from fighting? Besides, you have so much food. What's the harm in sharing a little with them? To risk your subordinates' lives over some food? Your heart is truly malicious. Mi Li tried to help Zhang Jingjing up, but was pushed away as Zhang Jingjing hurled curses at her. Seeing this, Chenluo looked displeased. He had saved them out of goodwill, yet instead of being grateful, they were causing disruption among his troops. Truly, some people are worth saving, while others are not. With this thought, Chenluo momentarily ignored the father-daughter duo and turned to face Sun Dawei. If that's what you truly want, then I'll give it to you. Having said that, before Sun Dawei could react, Chenluo suddenly conjured a spatial orb in his hand and hurled it towards Sun Dawei's head. Accompanied by a loud bang, Sun Dawei's head exploded. Seeing the stunned faces of the opposing group, Chenluo swiftly waved his hand, issuing a command. If they wish for death, then let's oblige. When Zhang Jingjing saw that in just a short exchange, 7 or 8 people were killed, and in no time, Sun Dawei's group collapsed. Without a leader and lacking strict command, they were easily defeated, leaving Zhang Jingjing dumbfounded. She had expected a bloodbath, but it ended so effortlessly. No wonder Chenluo was so uncompromising. Had she not intervened earlier, there might not have been any conflict at all. Thinking this, Zhang Jingjing crawled towards Chenluo in tears, begging for his mercy and pleading with him not to kill her. Chenluo chuckled. Don't worry, you're Mi Li's best friend. How could I possibly kill you? However, you can't remain in my team. Leave while I'm still in a good mood. Hearing this, Zhang Jingjing nodded. She knew that staying could endanger her life. Although she was resentful, she had to prioritize her safety. Mi Li managed to get close to the boss. I can do the same, she thought. After the two departed, Chenluo subtly nudged Thunder King, hinting that he shouldn't leave any potential threats behind. Thunder King got the message instantly, quietly following Zhang Jingjing from a distance. At that moment, Chen Guang rushed over and said, Bro Chen, a young man who just left mentioned he has urgent business with you. He seemed quite anxious. Chenluo nodded in acknowledgement, and then approached the young man to ask about his business. The young man, Leng Chen, said with a sheepish grin, Boss, are you recruiting? I want to join you. Upon hearing that, Chenluo's face instantly turned cold. This is the important matter you spoke of? Leng Chen, frightened, quickly pulled out a blue crystal. Chenluo's pupils constricted upon seeing it. It's a level 6 crystal. How did you get this? Leng Chen truthfully responded. I obtained it from a dead monster. The creature was over 10 meters tall. Consider this our greeting gift to you, boss. What do you think? Upon hearing this, Chenluo chuckled. For your sincerity, I'll let you join. Chen Guang, explain our rules to him. Chen Guang approached and explained the team's principles. Firstly, always follow the boss's commands. Secondly, if you flee in battle, you will be killed. While speaking, Chen Guang made a throat-slitting gesture. Hearing this, Leng Chen nodded in acknowledgement. Chenluo, with excitement evident on his face, gazed at the level 6 crystal in his hand. With this, I can advance to level 5 in just 3 days. That's half a month faster than I expected. Excellent. With that in mind, Chenluo instructed Chen Guang to keep an eye on the people around the villa. After all, many from Sun Dawei's team escaped. If you find any with light abilities or support skills among them, recruit them all. If they refuse, bring them to me by force. Only Mi Li in our group possesses healing arts. If more people get injured, she won't be enough to treat them. Don't worry, Bro Chen. I understand, replied Chen Guang. As Chenluo prepared to return to the villa, he spotted Thunder King. You're back so soon? Asked Chenluo. Thunder King boasted proudly. Who do you think I am? I'm a professional hunter. To train the new member, Chenluo immediately convened a mobilization awaken meeting. He assigned Shuyun to lead a team to hunt zombies, collecting crystals and resources. Ling Chen, looking at the leader Shuyun, remarked to Chen Guang in surprise. She's not as she appears. I thought you'd be leading. Instead, it's a pretty girl. Is she very skilled? Chen Guang chuckled and explained. I'm just a younger brother here. The ladies in our team joined the boss earlier and have all reached level 2. Shuyun, leading now, is particularly talented and has the boss's favor. I believe she's already level 3. Upon hearing this, Ling Chen was flabbergasted. My goodness, that's so powerful. All level 2 ladies. Facing a group of zombies, Shuyun issued a series of commands. Everyone split into groups of 4 to search for and collect supplies. Jiang Feng, you stay at the entrance of the residential area. If there's any situation, use the walkie-talkie to inform everyone. An hour later, dozens of vehicles swiftly approached the residential area. Jiang Feng, who was guarding the entrance, saw them and his face changed color. He quickly contacted everyone through his walkie-talkie. Be alert, a large number of vehicles have entered the area. Be cautious. Upon hearing this, Shuyun immediately instructed everyone to gather and assess the situation. We don't need to rush to collect supplies. However, Yanli was somewhat unwilling to give up. There's still a lot of food here. If we gather together, what are we afraid of? As everyone prepared to go upstairs, they realized it was too late. They were surrounded by the arriving group. The men in the vehicles, spotting the ladies, displayed lecherous grins. One of them stretched out his hand with malicious intent toward Yanli. Yanli quickly slapped the man's hand away and shouted, "What do you think you're doing? Just having a little fun, sweetheart. It's the apocalypse. No need to play coy anymore, right?" Hearing their vulgar words and unable to restrain herself any longer, Yanli delivered a swift kick, shattering the man's eggs. The leading man of the opposing group was infuriated. You dare hit my brother? Take out these 2 men first. We'll deal with the women later. As the words left his mouth, a group immediately surrounded the 2 men from Yanli's team. Seeing this, Yanli tried to step forward to help, but unexpectedly, someone attacked her from behind. A metal rod was slammed ruthlessly onto her head. In an instant, Yanli collapsed on the ground with a gash on her head, bleeding profusely. The man cursed at her. Bitch, how ungrateful. A voice shouted, Hey Z, what are you doing? Hearing this, Hey Z quickly replied with an ingratiating smile. Bro Yuan, some damn woman tried to hit me. I just taught her a lesson. Lu Yuan frowned, guessing what had transpired. Given Hey Z's strength and value to the team, he didn't reprimand him but warned, don't go too far. This should not happen again. The others nodded in agreement. Just then, an ice arrow shot through the head of the man in black. Upon seeing this, Lu Yuan immediately got out of his vehicle. Shuyun coldly said, release them. Lu Yuan scoffed, you killed one of mine and expect me to let them go? Hearing this and filled with anger, Shuyun immediately shot an ice arrow towards Lu Yuan. In response, Lu Yuan summoned a protective shield made of earth. Although Shuyun's ice arrow penetrated the shield, it had lost most of its momentum. Both Shuyun and Lu Yuan's expressions changed, recognizing each other's power. After a moment of standoff, Shuyun calmed down, fully aware that now wasn't the time for an all-out battle. She demanded the release of her teammates. Lu Yuan, not wanting an all-out conflict either, agreed. Although the 4 members of Shuyun's team were returned, Yanli had already succumbed to her injuries. Shuyun, cradling Yanli's lifeless body, mourned deeply, you'll pay for this. Chenluo won't let you go. Men from the opposing side began to mockingly jeer at the scene. However, Shuyun ignored them and whispered, let's go. Yang Xian gave the men a cold glance and was about to drive away the heavy truck when someone stopped them. Leave the truck. You can't take it. Upon hearing this, Shuyun, suppressing her rage, said, give it to them. Let's leave. Watching the retreating figures of Shuyun and her team, He Zi whispered to Lu Yuan, suggesting they forcibly keep the group of beautiful women. Lu Yuan, however, slapped He Zi in response and scolded, damn it, why are you stirring up trouble? That woman is not to be trifled with. He Zi, covering his face, argued that they had the advantage in numbers. Would they really risk everything? Lu Yuan was aware that this group's main base was nearby and realized that the situation wasn't as simple. They needed to understand their enemy's capabilities and then strike them decisively. Otherwise, they'd face retaliation. Back in the villa area, Shuyun immediately briefed Chenluo on the entire situation, admitting her mistakes and recognizing her failure in leadership, which led to Yanli not dying at the hands of zombies but by survivors instead. Hearing this, Chenluo took a deep breath and reassured her, you did the right thing. Engaging in a fight then would have been unwise. He was well aware that the most dangerous thing in this post-apocalyptic world wasn't zombies, but the infighting among survivors. Since you all chose to follow me, I won't let anyone trample on us. Those who spill our blood must pay in kind. When I have a grudge, I don't let it linger. Immediately, he gathered everyone from the villa to set out for revenge. Hearing about the incident and Chenluo's declaration, everyone was filled with righteous indignation, especially by Chenluo's words, which made their blood boil. With Chenluo leading, they felt undefeatable. Seeing the imposing Chenluo and his group, He Zi commented, Bro Yuan, someone's approaching. It looks like the group that just left. Lu Yuan quickly looked out the window and saw more than 60 people alighting from vehicles. As the 2 factions locked eyes, Lu Yuan sensed something amiss. minutes. This woman, a level 3 ability user, was pouring her grievances out to this young man. Chenluo coldly stared at them. Are you the leader? Who gave you the audacity to kill one of mine? I can't find a single reason to spare any of you. Upon hearing Chenluo's words, Lu Yuan was taken aback. For someone to speak with such confidence, the young man's strength must surpass that of the woman. They couldn't confront him directly. With that thought, Lu Yuan quickly apologized. Young man, it was our mistake. We'll return your truck immediately and compensate with a ton of rice. How about that? Chenluo sneered. A ton of rice for the life of my team member? How about I give you 100 tons for the lives of all your men? Hearing this, Lu Yuan frowned. He realized that this young leader was not to be trifled with. Anyone with such audacity must have a trump card. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the leader. People were his most valuable asset, and he couldn't risk them. With that thought, he decided to hand over the main culprits to Chenluo for judgment. At his command, several of his men forcefully brought the struggling He before Chenluo. Seeing He kneeling before him, Chenluo smirked internally. You think handing over one scapegoat will resolve this? Impossible. Chenluo, always repay my debts. Terrified, He's nose ran with mucus as he pleaded with Chenluo, claiming that he wasn't the only one responsible and there were 2 others involved. Curious, Chenluo looked at Lu Yuan and asked, what do you have to say? Knowing that he must hand them over to settle the matter, Lu Yuan ordered his men to bring forth the other 2 culprits. Observing this, Chenluo coldly commanded, what are you waiting for? Step forward and slap these men. Continue until they're dead. As soon as the order was given, a group rushed forward, brutally slapping the 3 culprits. After a while of watching the trio bruised and battered, Chenluo ordered for some medical treatment for them, only to let Shuyun and the others continue the beating afterwards. The 3 men cried and pleaded, Big brother, we were wrong. We are willing to join you and fight against Lu Yuan. However, Shuyun and the others paid no heed. After about 10 minutes, He and the other 2 were slapped to death. Witnessing this, Lu Yuan was drenched in cold sweat. He hadn't anticipated the ferocity of these individuals. They say never to wrong a woman, he thought. Little brother, since the main culprits are now dead, and you've also killed one of ours, can we consider the matter settled? Lu Yuan proposed. Upon hearing this, Chenluo snorted dismissively. You must be daydreaming. How can their pathetic lives compensate? I want the lives of everyone present. Lu Yuan retorted in disbelief. Are you even being reasonable? Why should I reason with you? Who do you think you are? Chenluo shot back. This remark made Lu Yuan scoff. I've never seen someone as arrogant as you. You think I'm afraid of you? My men here fought their way out of zombies, and we even outnumber you. You'd best leave while you still can. Unperturbed by Lu Yuan's threat, numerical superiority means nothing in the face of absolute power. It's just a delivery of heads. I need to establish my authority amongst my followers. To firmly sit in a leader's position, one not only needs resources, but also raw power. It's been a long time since I last showed my true strength. Many of my new members haven't seen what I'm truly capable of. This is a perfect opportunity for me to demonstrate and intimidate. With that thought, Chenluo instantly summoned his void sword and charged towards Lu Yuan. Seeing this, Lu Yuan realized the imminent danger and quickly summoned an earthen shield to protect himself. However, the void sword, like a blade through sand, pierced effortlessly through the shield, then through Lu Yuan's body. Lu Yuan was immediately split in 2. Witnessing the swift execution of their leader, the opposing forces felt their scalps tingle with terror. At this moment, Meili cast a spell on Chenluo, enhancing his defense and strength. Chenluo grinned. It's great to have a wife who looks out for you. He then charged into the heart of Lu Yuan's camp like a tiger amongst sheep. Although the void sword couldn't last more than an hour, it could easily endure for 3 minutes. Another 2 fell, sliced cleanly in half by Chenluo's blade. The shock and terror that had started with Lu Yuan's death now peaked. Thoughts raced. This guy isn't human. If we don't flee now, we'll die by his hand. Chen Guang, Ling Chen, and others were deeply shaken by the scene, while Meili sighed. The gap between him and me seems to be growing. She urged, let's all attack together and not leave any lingering threats. Half an hour later, Chen Guang, exhilarated, pledged his loyalty to Chenluo. Listening to Chen Guang's flattery, Chenluo responded with a mild smile. Enough of the bootlicking. I truly regret Yan Li's death, but this is the apocalypse. We must remain vigilant at all times, as danger can strike any moment. I sent you out to gather crystals, but more importantly, to gain battle experience. The best protector for each of you is yourselves. I hope everyone will quickly enhance their skills, and since you've chosen to follow me, anyone who bullies you will pay the price. Now, let's gather some supplies. It's almost noon. We should head back and let a few of our skilled sisters prepare lunch for everyone. In a villa district, 2 men in tattered shirts were intently staring at Thunder King, craving his flesh. Although Thunder King was aware, he pretended to be oblivious, intending to tease these 2. The men, meanwhile, were salivating profusely. Just as one of them, with red hair, was about to make a move, he was stopped by Miao Hui, who advised against rashness. What if the dog escapes? We've been hungry for a day and definitely can't outrun this dog. Let's lure him over with a piece of feces, ensuring a fail-proof plan. As the saying goes, a dog can't change its habit of eating feces. As Thunder King approached step by by step. The two drooled even more. Really? I'm minding my own business and you're offering yourselves up to die? Using feces to lure me? You can target a dog, but you can't insult one this way. With these thoughts, Thunder King became so enraged that unnatural lightning began to flash around him. This bewildering phenomenon left Sieda and Meow Hui dumbstruck. How can this dog generate electricity? Especially given Thunder King's fierce appearance. The two sensed imminent danger and turned to flee towards the exit. But it was too late. Thunder King spewed terrifying lightning from his mouth, striking them down. This scene was coincidentally witnessed by the returning Chenluo. Thunder King, what are you doing? Were these two intruders? An infuriated Thunder King ignored Chenluo and left. Watching him leave, Chenluo was utterly perplexed, wondering what had just transpired. Unable to fathom the situation, Chenluo decided not to dwell on it. Turning to the others, he said, "All right, everyone, take a break now. After lunch, you're free to practice." As the crowd dispersed, Chenluo contemplated whether he should recruit more members. After all, his team was relatively small. If they were to encounter a group of several hundred people, even he alone couldn't handle them all. Furthermore, with the current manpower, who knows how many would remain after a few months? It seems necessary to draft a recruitment notice. I have plenty of supplies. As long as they obey orders and dare to combat zombies, they're welcome to join. After lunch, Chen Guang sat at the entrance of the villa district. A conspicuous notice board had been placed at the entrance. The message was quite straightforward, indicating that there were several Tier 3 superpower users in the base. Their strength was formidable, the compensation was generous, and there were sufficient crystals. Before long, a 7-seater minivan pulled up to the entrance. The sight of the notice board piqued their curiosity, drawing them closer for a better look. After reading all the terms and conditions, the group, who were uncertain about their next move, were immediately intrigued. But while the perks were attractive, the qualifications were demanding. Only Tier 2 individuals could join, and out of the 5 of them, only 2 met the criteria. One of them inquired, "Chao, what do you think?" Wang Chao hesitated before saying, "If everything they've mentioned is true, then there's no doubt we should join. But only Lu Qi and I have reached Tier 2. The 3 of you don't meet the criteria." Lu Qi suggested, "Why don't we get out of the car and inquire? Don't they accept family members?" Chen Guang laughed and shook his head. Family members refer to those with blood relations. However, if a Tier 1 individual can contribute 3 Tier 1 crystals, they can join. Hearing this, the man named Lu Qi introduced himself, claiming he was a healer, someone who could heal and bolster strength. He asked if they could make an exception for him. Chen Guang was taken aback by this revelation. Healers were rare and valuable. He immediately agreed and brought them to Chenluo. Chenluo looked them over. Lu Qi's name seemed familiar to Chenluo. He recalled hearing about a rather well-known healer by that name. Additionally, Rice confirmed that these newcomers bore no ill intent. So, Chenluo tasked Chen Guang with their arrangements. Returning to the villa, Chenluo took out the Tier 6 crystal to absorb its power. By his estimations, he should be able to advance to Tier 5 by nightfall. And indeed, with the depletion of the Tier 6 crystal, Chenluo successfully ascended to Tier 5. As their team grew stronger, their needs for supplies also increased. Chenluo thus rallied everyone to embark on a supply hunt. Before leaving, he reminded Chen Guang and Thunder King to guard their base. Half an hour later, a grand convoy reached a nearby agricultural market. Though the market was teeming with zombies, it was equally abundant in supplies. Facing the horde, using traditional 4-person team tactics would be ineffective. Jiang Feng, you'll draw the zombies out, one batch at a time. For Jiang Feng's safety, Meili boosted his status. Entering the marketplace, Jiang Feng quickly attracted a group of 7 or 8 zombies, which eagerly pursued him. As long as he maintained a distance of more than 20 meters from the zombies, they couldn't harm him. Lower-tier zombies didn't have a long attack range. Meanwhile, the rest of the team stood by, launching long-range magical attacks. Observing the scenario, Chenluo explained, "See this? If you encounter slightly larger groups of zombies in the future, use this tactic. But if there are too many, don't try it. If you die, don't blame me." He then delegated a few Tier 2 members with good speed to attract the zombies. "Let's start clearing them." An hour later, the 100 or so zombies lurking around the marketplace were exterminated. Hearing the team's reports, Chenluo nodded in acknowledgement. "I'll personally draw out the next batch of zombies." Chenluo was reluctant to send Jiang Feng because he feared he might encounter a mutated zombie and lose his life. He recalled hearing in his past life about a certain time when there was a mutated Earth-type zombie in the market, its strength equivalent to a Tier 4 or Tier 5 zombie. The question was where this creature was hiding. He first approached the area selling pork, beef, and lamb. The space spanned about 500 to 600 square meters and was home to around 80 to 90 zombies. Just then, a zombie resembling an old farmer with a straw hat suddenly unleashed several spikes in a straight line, effectively blocking Chenluo's path. But Chenluo, far from panicking, rejoiced. "Didn't expect to find you so soon." Utilizing his void walking, he not only dodged the old farmer zombie's attack, but also instantly appeared behind it. The creature had no time to employ its earth shield, and Chenluo's blade swiftly decapitated it. Holding its still twitching head, Chenluo continued running forward forward, now with over 200 zombies tailing him. The sight of such a massive horde following Chenluo left the others stunned. "Run," he yelled. "Use your speed advantage to lose them. Prep your magic, roughly aim, and cast. But don't stop, keep running." With everyone's coordination, the hundreds of zombies were easily vanquished. Jubilation and a hint of exhilaration filled the faces of the team. "If we practice this strategy diligently, no amount of zombies will be a match for us." Chenluo, however, was more sober-minded. "Only if you keep pace with the evolution of the zombies. Most survivors can't keep up with the rapid development of these creatures. Now, let's gather what supplies we can carry and move out." Meanwhile, Chenluo ventured into the cold storage room. Compared to the one where he stored pork, this one seemed quite small. It had been without power for a long time, rendering the meat inside spoiled. But Chenluo decided to take out some pork and beef, presenting them as part of the retrieved supplies. 2 hours later, the group had loaded all the supplies onto their vehicles. As they were about to drive away, a middle-aged man stepped forward to block Chenluo's lead vehicle. With a calm demeanor, Chenluo said, "Please, step aside." Just as the middle-aged man was about to speak, a motorcycle approached. From it alighted a tan-skinned but vibrant young man. Chenluo's pupils contracted. It was him, Xiao Haoren, known in the future as Unbeatable Iron Fist. To think that he'd encounter him here, but Xiao Haoren wasn't there for Chenluo. He was there for the middle-aged man blocking the way. Xiao Haoren pleaded, "Bro Long, I heard you caught a live chicken. Can you give it to me? My mother's condition is deteriorating, and she wishes for a bowl of chicken soup before the end. If you help, I'll be in your debt." Hearing this, Bro Long immediately declined. "I'm sorry, brother, I can't do that." Although Bro Long spoke politely, the man behind him was not so kind. A smart calculation, taking Bro Long's chicken and then offering your life to him? Are you expecting Bro Long to take care of you forever? Chenluo, observing this scene, suddenly chimed in, "I have a chicken and a chef who can make the soup you desire. How about you owe me instead?" Taken aback, Xiao Haoren nodded. "Yes, for a satisfactory bowl of chicken soup, I will owe you my life." Chenluo smiled. Deal. Trading a top-tier fighter for a bowl of chicken soup? Who wouldn't take that bargain? He decided to bring both Xiao Haoren and his ailing mother to his base. Half an hour later, Xiao Haoren emerged from a building, carrying a woman in her 50s on his back, showing signs of weariness. After they boarded the vehicle, Xiao Haoren whispered, "She's in the late stages of cancer." Chenluo realized there wasn't much hope for her. Unless Meili could advance to level 7 now, their current healing abilities were only good for treating minor injuries and hadn't reached the capability to cure terminal diseases. In less than half an hour, Chenluo returned to the villa district. He asked Shuyun to arrange a separate room for Xiao Haoren and his mother, ensuring they would be well taken care of. He also mentioned he would organize for the chicken soup to be made. After they left, Chenluo said to Mayu, "Whatever ingredients and seasonings you need, just let me know. Make sure you do this one diligently." Mayu nodded and muttered, "Do you think I wasn't serious before?" Chenluo replied awkwardly, "Cough. What I meant was, be even more meticulous this time." "Alright, but for a good chicken soup, it will take at least 3 hours. After pondering for a moment, Chenluo suggested, "Then prepare some home-style dishes. After all, we can't just have chicken soup. Maybe Xiao's mother would like to eat something else. If we're trying to win someone's heart, we should go all out." A few hours later, a table full of delicious dishes was served in front of Xiao's mother. Xiao Haoren was stupefied, and his mother had to rub her eyes, thinking she might be hallucinating. Chenluo smiled and said, "Auntie, let's eat." Although she initially declined, with Xiao Haoren's assistance, she enjoyed a hearty meal. Before her final moments, she grasped Chenluo's hand and trembled. "Young man, I can see you're a good person. Please take care of my son." Turning to Xiao Haoren, she added, "A mother knows her son best. If he can offer such precious things to honor me, he must value you greatly. Don't let him down." Holding his mother's hand tightly, Xiao Haoren responded, "Mother, don't worry, I understand." Contrary to Chenluo's expectations, Xiao Haoren wasn't deeply saddened by his mother's passing. He said to Chenluo, "Big brother, thank you. My mother has passed, and it's for the best. She won't suffer from her illness any longer. Big brother, you'll see my performance in the future." He understood Xiao Haoren's character. However, with the team growing larger, it was necessary to establish some rules early on. They couldn't let some people slack off. A system of rewards and punishments needed to be set up. The roles in the community were divided into leader, deputy leader, elders, elite members, regular members, new members, and a special position named devotee, which only Chenluo could assign. Sudaju and Meili held the devotee title. Each rank had its own privileges. Currently, those who reached level 3 could be designated as elite members, while everyone else was a regular member. Newcomers would start as new members, and after half a month, or if they displayed exceptional merit, they would be upgraded to regular members. Later on, they could exchange personal points for resources in the base. Points would be distributed based on individual performance, with extra rewards for outstanding achievements. From then on, positions would be determined by points, not by rank. Thinking of this, Chenluo gathered everyone to announce the system. Any power user who reached level 3 could be designated an elite member. If these elite members had leadership capabilities, they could lead 20 regular members. Shuyun was the leader of the female squad, while Fangyu and Chenguang led the male squads. From today, this ranking policy would be officially implemented. As long as you were willing to risk your life, you could live comfortably. As Chenluo announced this system, the excitement among the members below was palpable. Their morale soared, and they shouted in unison about killing zombies to earn points. At the same time, outside the villa area, 2 large convoys were approaching Chenluo's base. The leader, Zhao Hai, asked the other convoy, "I've hardly seen any zombies around here. Do you know what's going on?" Seeing the number of people with Zhao Hai, he didn't dare to hide anything and honestly informed him. Upon hearing this, Zhao Hai was taken aback. He remembered that before the apocalypse, Chenluo had mortgaged his villa to him, borrowing 300 million to stockpile supplies. It seemed like Zhao Hai was on his way to collect that debt. Soon, Zhao Hai's convoy reached the entrance of the base. Leng Chen, who was at the gate, saw the convoy and immediately radioed Chenluo for backup. "Bro Chen, we need reinforcements at the gate. A large convoy has arrived." Hearing this, Chenluo quickly rushed over. However, when he saw the person stepping out of the vehicle, he was momentarily stunned, thinking, "Isn't this the guy to whom I mortgaged my villa for 300 million? Zhao Hai, seeing Chenluo's reaction, laughed heartily and said, "Little brother, who would have thought we'd meet under these circumstances? It's fate." Chenluo, a bit embarrassed, replied, "I didn't expect to see you here either. Are you in charge around here?" Once Chenluo confirmed, Zhao Hai cut straight to the point. "Brother, you owe me 300 million, which has matured. With interest, that's 330 million. You've been overdue for a while now. Given the special circumstances, I'm willing to waive the late fees and interest. Just pay me back the principal." Hearing this, Chenluo chuckled to himself, thinking, "Does he really believe I'll pay him back? Why is he under this illusion?" Out loud, Chenluo confidently said, "Brother, do you really think I, Chenluo, would default on my debt? In fact, I've already transferred the money to your account. Haven't you received it? It's a shame we don't have a signal now, otherwise I'd show you the transfer record. But you can't accuse me of not paying my debts." Zhao Hai was taken aback by Chenluo's words. He never expected such a maneuver from him. This was like the pot calling the kettle black. One of Zhao Hai's men shouted angrily, "You're talking nonsense. For such a large sum, wouldn't you personally come to inform us about the transfer? Do you think you can fool us with such a lame excuse?" Chenluo chuckled lightly. "Well, then you should go to the bank and bring out evidence that I didn't transfer the money. But since you have helped me in the past, I am grateful. I'll give you a ton of rice as a thank you." Zhao Hai, with a grim face, replied, "Brother, that's not fair. I won't make things difficult for you. Just give me some meat. The times have changed, and the value of meat has increased. For 300 million, give me 15 tons of meat, and we'll call it even." Jin Tao, who was standing beside Zhao Hai, sneered, "Everyone present should have a share. I want 15 tons too. That's not too much to ask, right? If you don't have the meat, you can settle the debt with the women by your side." Hearing Jin Tao's words, Chenluo's expression turned cold. "Even if I had the meat, why should I give it to you?" Seeing Chenluo's attitude and the expressions of those behind him, Zhao Hai suddenly realized something. Chenluo's team must have cleared out so many zombies due to their strength. Realizing this, Zhao Hai quickly changed his tone and said, "I made a mistake. Chenluo, your money did indeed come through." Upon hearing this, Jin Tao looked at Zhao Hai as if he had gone mad. "I was mistaken. Brother Chenluo is not one to default on his debts." Chenluo clapped and said, "You're a sensible man. Take your people and stand aside. Don't interfere." Zhao Hai, cooperating, waved his hand and, along with his subordinates, promptly departed. Jin Tao, on the other hand, hurled insults at the departing Zhao Hai. "Zhao Hai, you coward. There are just a few people on their side, and you cower so easily? I must have been blind to trust you." Zhao Hai remained silent, thinking that there's no loss in being insulted. Seeing this scene, Jin Tao snorted, "If you want to take me on, come at me." Chenluo coldly addressed the crowd. "Anyone who doesn't want to meet their end alongside him, go stand by Zhao Hai's side. I'm giving you 10 seconds. Hearing this, indeed there were smart individuals in Jin Tao's group. Sensing the tense atmosphere, some began to retreat quietly. To Chenluo's surprise, Jin Tao turned out to be a dark element user with a summoning talent. The same talent could manifest in various ways. For instance, the dark element could be divided into curse, summoning, undead, and attack subcategories. On Chenluo's side, there was a girl named Li Hui who also belonged to the dark element, but her first acquired skill was a curse type that slows down movements. She was likely to specialize in curses. Jin Tao, on the other hand, possessed a summoning talent within the dark element. After 5 or 6 seconds, 7 skeletal figures without flesh materialized in front of Jin Tao. "Never seen this, have you?" Jin Tao boasted. "People killed by my skeletal soldiers go straight to hell. Their souls are devoured, and they're never reborn." Chenluo laughed dismissively. "Who are you trying to scare? Spouting all that mumbo-jumbo. Why not claim you're the king of the underworld while you're at it?" With that, Chenluo stepped aside, making space, and shouted, "It's your turn now. 5 points for each kill. Capturing Jin Tao alive gets 100 points." Just then, Thunder King suddenly ran out, barking loudly. Over the past couple of days, he had set his sights on the Elder's position. A twitch appeared at the corner of Chenluo's mouth. "What would you even do with points?" "Fine. If you want them, you'll have them." Hearing this, Thunder King barked twice excitedly, indicating he was in on the action. Leading the charge against the enemies, he released a well-prepared ball of lightning that exploded amongst them, instantly earning himself 20 points. This brought him one step closer to the coveted Elder position. Seeing this, Mi Ling shouted, "Prepare your spells and wait for them to rush us." Jin Tao's side was forced into a passive position, especially with Thunder King relentlessly attacking them. Chenluo was at a loss for words. He had wanted to train his team members, but his plans were completely disrupted by a dog. Suddenly, Thunder King approached Jin Tao and marked his territory right on him before chasing after others who were trying to escape. The message was clear. Jin Tao was his target, and nobody else should interfere. Chenluo, covering his face in disbelief. Thunder King, was it really necessary to urinate in public like that? Watching his own teammates fall one after another, Jin Tao desperately clung to Chenluo's leg, begging, "Boss, spare my life. I'll do anything." Zhao Hai, witnessing the scene, felt thankful for making the wise choice of not deeply offending Chenluo. Chenluo glanced at Jin Tao. "Don't worry, I won't kill you." He was preparing to exploit a bug. The undead creatures summoned by Jin Tao could also yield crystals. However, only level 4 undead creatures and above would have them, whereas those below level 3 did not. Chenluo planned to first help Jin Tao level up, thereby acquiring a tool to infinitely farm for crystals. Hearing that Chenluo wouldn't kill him, Jin Tao immediately knelt and kowtowed in gratitude. "Thank you, big brother. I can tell you're a man of your word. I'll listen to you sincerely. Young man, your summoning talent is impressive, and I have high hopes for you. But if you dare try any tricks or attempt to escape, I'll break all your limbs." With that, Chenluo instructed those around him, lock him up in a room and treat him like a new recruit. At this moment, Zhao Hai stepped forward to apologize to Chenluo. "Bro Chen, you're truly capable. I apologize for any past offenses." He then handed over a finely crafted silver pistol to Chenluo. Chenluo chuckled lightly, knowing the weapon posed no threat to himself but could serve to intimidate others. With this thought, he boldly fired the gun at his chest in front of everyone. To their astonishment, the bullet couldn't penetrate and simply bounced off his clothes, falling weakly to the ground. Zhao Hai, shocked by what he'd witnessed, stumbled and sat on the ground, thinking, is he even human? The bullet didn't pose any threat at all. Bro Chen's strength has completely shattered my perceptions. Well, no fight, no acquaintance. We might still have grounds for cooperation. Chenluo then loudly called out, bypassing Zhao Hai. "Anyone here from the Light, Dark, Earth, or Nature faction? Of course, other unique support abilities are also welcome. We offer decent benefits here. Those considering joining, think about it." Quick-witted Lengchen chimed in. "We provide 3 full meals, sometimes with meat. Our conditions are excellent, and our strength is evident. Why the hesitation?" Upon hearing this, the crowd immediately erupted in cheers, expressing their eagerness to join Chenluo's team. Turning to Zhao Hai, Chenluo asked playfully, "Brother Zhao, you don't mind, do you?" Zhao Hai gave a bitter smile, watching as the elites were drawn to Chenluo. "How could I object?" Upon hearing Zhao Hai, Chenluo shouted to the crowd, "Everyone, quiet down. To join my team, you need to kill 10 zombies and obtain 10 crystals as proof." As soon as his words finished, groups of people began to form teams to hunt down zombies. Seeing his team members leaving, Zhao Hai didn't dare to stay longer, fearing if he did, everyone else might leave too. "Bro Chen, if you ever need anything, come find me at the Golden Dragon Garden. I live there. If I ever run into trouble, I hope you can help, as friends." Chenluo nodded, indicating no problem. That night, Meili lay in Chenluo's arms and asked, "Brother Chenluo, I noticed the new members are performing well. Why don't you let them clear out the nearby zombies earlier? Zombies can evolve. Shouldn't we clear them all out before they complete their evolution?" Chenluo explained, "That's just your perspective. Even now, some survivors are still afraid to confront zombies. If everyone comes together and they encounter a higher level mutated zombie, everyone could be wiped out." Meili responded with a simple acknowledgement and gradually fell asleep in Chenluo's embrace. However, Chenluo couldn't sleep. What he told Meili was just part of the reason. Knowing the future progression, he understood that zombies needed to evolve. After clearing out the zombies, there won't be enough high-level crystals, and humans couldn't evolve rapidly. When the more formidable creatures descend, they would be doomed. The next morning, like always, Chenluo held a mobilization meeting, reminding everyone, be cautious when going out. The zombies will become increasingly stronger. But after they left, Rice suddenly seemed to sense something and anxiously said to Chenluo, "I have a bad feeling. I feel that Mi Ling might get hurt. There's no life-threatening danger, but I'm still worried." This statement made Chenluo's face turn serious. Mi Ling, Meili, and Su Dezhu always acted together, and with Thunder King as their bodyguard, under normal circumstances, there shouldn't be any danger to her. Thinking of this, Chenluo sought confirmation, so she'll only be injured, and there's no threat to her life, right? Rice nodded in agreement. After hesitating for a long moment, Chenluo took a deep breath and ultimately decided not to follow them. He thought, protecting her like a caged canary won't help. Even if she becomes a king level, she won't be the spirit flame princess from my past life. Chenluo gently petted Rice. You're truly a remarkable cat. At least a level 10 psychic power user would be needed to sense impending danger, and that's usually only for themselves. But Rice can perceive danger for others and foresee it so much in advance. I should start collecting higher grade crystals to enhance Rice. Meanwhile, with the combined efforts of Mi Ling, Mi Li, and Su Dezhu, they quickly cleared the surrounding zombies. Throughout their journey, they didn't encounter any zombies above level 2. Initially, everything went smoothly, but unbeknownst to them, a mutated zombie had set its sights on them. This level 4 zombie, with a fairly high intelligence, observed Mi Ling's group from a distance. Instead of rashly attacking, it decided to rally other zombies for help. Just then, Thunder King noticed 3 zombies in an alleyway and charged at them. However, as soon as he was a distance away from Mi Ling's group, the horde of zombies launched their surprise attack. The level 4 zombie hid amongst the masses, letting the lower level zombies lead the charge as cannon fodder. Mi Ling didn't run immediately. Instead, she cast an explosive fireball, annihilating several zombies, planning to gradually wear down the horde. After casting her spell, the trio turned to flee, their faces showing no signs of panic. But at that moment, the level 4 zombie suddenly made its move, manipulating the power of wind to whip up a massive gust. Assisted by this wind, the speed of the zombie horde increased dramatically, rapidly closing in on Mi Ling and her companions. Glancing back, Mi Ling's face turned pale, realizing that there must be a high-level zombie within the horde. Though unsure of its level, she knew they couldn't continue running. They had to turn and fight. Su Dezhu led the charge, swinging his staff at the zombies in front of him. Mi Ling unleashed a fiery explosion, reducing the zombie horde from over 20 to just a dozen. However, this created an opening for the level 4 zombie. It unleashed a wind blade at Mi Li, who had no time to dodge. Mi Ling, seeing the impending danger, instinctively shielded Mi Li with her own body. The wind blade slashed across Mi Ling's shoulder, and her bright red blood instantly stained Mi Li's clothes. If it wasn't for Mi Ling's level 3 strength and Mi Li's defensive enhancements, her entire shoulder might have been severed by the level 4 zombie's attack. Pain flashed across Mi Ling's face, but her uninjured hand promptly launched a fireball. To her dismay, the level 4 zombie narrowly dodged it. Su Dezhu made a snap decision, positioning himself between the zombie and the girls. Mi Ling, you handle the regular zombies. I'll hold off this one. Then, we'll take it down together. Mi Ling nodded in agreement. After Mi Li cast a healing spell on Mi Ling, she pulled out the handgun given to her by Chenluo and fired at the level 4 zombie. Unfamiliar with the weapon, the zombie tried dodging whenever it could. Though the handgun wasn't immensely powerful, it managed to delay the level 4 zombie momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, Su Dezhu, empowered by Mi Li's enhancement, charged at the zombie. For a short time, even the level 4 zombie couldn't kill Su Dezhu. Meanwhile, alerted by the gunshots, Thunder King finally realized something was amiss. Fearing for Mi Ling's group, he dashed to the scene. Seeing Thunder King's arrival, Su Dezhu's face lit up with relief. Quickly, Thunder King began circling around the zombie, leaving it slightly disoriented. Capitalizing on the opportunity, Su Dezhu swung his staff at the zombie, but it blocked the attack with its hand. At that moment, Mi Li cast an amplification spell on Thunder King. Seizing the opportunity, Thunder King hurled an electrified orb at the back of the level 4 zombie. However, the zombie evaded the attack by leaping aside. Realizing it was outmatched, the level 4 zombie turned to flee. But Thunder King wasn't about to let such a valuable score slip away. He kicked the zombie's back, causing it to stumble and fall. Su Dezhu quickly pinned the zombie down, preventing it from getting up. The group then took turns pummeling it. Afterwards, Mi Li continuously healed Mi Ling and Su Dezhu. The trio sighed with relief, grateful for the close call. Thunder King, on the other hand, extracted a crystal from the level 4 zombie. Holding the sizable crystal, his eyes gleamed with delight. Upon returning to base, Thunder King was the first to disembark, presenting a bag of crystals to Chenluo with a sycophantic smile. Rice relayed to Chenluo, this sneaky dog wants to know how many points these crystals are worth. After pondering for a moment, Chenluo responded, let's say 100 points. Thunder King's face lit up with excitement. Chenluo washed the crystals, intending to use them to help Rice reach level 4 more quickly. Thunder King looked dumbfounded. I worked hard for these crystals, and you're giving them to Rice? Shouldn't you give them to me? Is that fair? After Rice translated Thunder King's words, Chenluo handed the level 4 crystal back to Thunder King, retorting, you gave me the crystals, and I gave you points. Sounds fair, right? Thunder King couldn't argue with that logic and handed the crystals back to Chenluo, mumbling, crystals aren't as enticing as points. After all, Chenluo tightened his grip on Rice. Rice was spot on. Mi Ling was in danger, but not life-threatening. When Mi Li was in danger previously, Rice had alerted me in advance, allowing me to rush over and play the hero. But why didn't it detect Sudaju's injuries? Was it because they were minor, or can it currently only sense danger for those it's close to? Chenluo mused. Regardless, such a game-changing ability must be nurtured and upgraded. At dinner, Thunder King excitedly ran over, urging everyone to look at him. Chenluo and the others gathered around, giving him a thorough examination. Is it just me, or did Thunder King get bigger? Someone questioned. Another joked. Maybe you fed him too well. Infuriated by their baffling comments, Thunder King asked Rice to translate his message. Thunder King explained that he had successfully advanced to level 4, and with that, his size had changed. Mi Ling recalled when she first met Chenluo, who had said that she couldn't even beat his dog. At the time, she had been indignant, but now it seemed the statement was no exaggeration. I can't believe I'm less competent than a dog, she lamented. Rice then translated another message for Thunder King. Chenluo, Thunder King wants to know how many points you're giving for the first one to advance to level 4. Chenluo curiously asked, what do you want with the points? Thunder King proudly proclaimed, I have a dream to become the dog elder, and then, the deputy leader. Then, everyone will call me dog leader. Chenluo looked stunned for a moment, then his face darkened. He gently nudged Thunder King with his foot. Dog leader? I feel like you're mocking me. Just then, the walkie-talkie on Chenluo's chest buzzed to life. Big brother, Xiao Hai has sent people over again. 3 cars, about a dozen men, claiming they've come for help. I initially brushed them off, but they're really here. Let them in. Song Ling approached first, offering a box of cigarettes